Hey guys, and welcome back to a brand new Pokemon TCG video. Today we're going to be briefly talking about the giveaway first and then go right ahead and dig into our deck. So regarding the giveaway, we unfortunately haven't been getting as much interest as I would have liked to have. So unfortunately I'm actually going to have to scrap out the idea of a tournament, and instead what I will be doing is allowing you guys an opportunity to fight me. So we'll be having that hopefully next week. Saturday is what I'm thinking, between 4 p.m. Eastern Standard Time Zone to 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time Zone. Make sure you guys actually read the description for the full details with respects to that. You guys will have to sign up, and you guys will have an opportunity to challenge me. By beating me, you will actually earn 3 Phantom Forces booster packs, and if you guys do lose, you'll unfortunately only get a single Phantom Forces booster pack. I'll be using a lot of different decks, so some of them may be a little bit more competitive, some of them may not be as competitive, and some of them you guys will definitely have seen in my videos before, so do plan accordingly. Hopefully it's going to be a lot of fun. Again, I wanted to make it something interesting for you guys. So with respects to that, do make sure you guys actually carefully read the instructions on, especially if you guys are interested in participating. And I realize that this time may not actually work for everyone, so hopefully I will be having another giveaway soon as well. But for now, this is how I'm actually going to go about doing it, because again, if I wanted to actually run a tournament, I would like to have had enough interest so that it would last a while and a lot of different players would actually get the opportunity to participate. Unfortunately, we didn't have that, so this is ultimately what I've decided to go with. I nonetheless think that this is going to be very, very fun for you guys, so I highly encourage you guys to participate. Again, please make sure you guys do read the description on how to do that. Otherwise, I'm unfortunately just going to ignore your comment in case you are interested, if you're not actually properly following the instructions that I've laid out for you guys. So with that, guys, let's go and talk about this deck. This deck is going to revolve around Seismitoad EX as our main attacker in our deck. Again, pretty self-explanatory Pokemon. We're pretty much going to be quicking punching away at our opponent's Pokemon, and from time to time we may actually use the Grenade Hammer, but most often we simply want to disable our opponent from actually being able to use any of his item cards, because Seismitoad EX is definitely a very, very annoying Pokemon with respects to that. We're also going to be running 3 Magnezones. He's going to be the supporter Pokemon that we have in this deck. His Dual Brains ability is definitely very, very nice. It allows us to play a total of 2 supporter cards per turn. So this card works extremely well with the Seismitoad EX. So we can use a whole wide variety of different supporter cards. For example, we could use 2 Junipers per turn. We could use a Juniper and a Zerasic, things like that. So definitely works extremely nice. He has a total of 140 HP, so definitely quite hard to knock out, and extremely, extremely annoying to deal with once he actually is in our bench. So we are going to be running 3 copies of him just to try and ensure that we can actually get him in our bench nice and early into the game. We're also going to be running a total of 3 Magnemites. Again, doesn't really matter which particular type you choose because we're just going to try and evolve him anyways. And we're also going to be running 1 Magneton. So we're running a 3-1-3 line. And then we're also going to be running a total of 2 rare candies just so we can evolve our Magnemite right away into the Magnezone and hopefully get that supporter support going nice and early. We're also going to be running a total of 2 Reshurams, which is going to function as two sorts of there's two sorts of advantages to actually using the Reshiram in our deck. Number 1, he's pretty much our only anti-safeguard counter, and number 2, our Seismitoad EX is extremely weak to to grass-type Pokemon, namely speaking Verzin EX, Genesect EX, and of course the Leafeon. So Reshiram is going to act as a nice counter to those Pokemon, and he's pretty much our only anti-safeguard counter. With safeguard Pokemon though, we'll most likely be able to Hypnotoxic Laser them away, but nonetheless it is nice to have some backup in case we actually, for example, have discarded those cards, or we just simply can't seem to draw onto them. So that's where Reshiram is going to come in handy. His Outrage attack is quite nice, and of course, if we actually do use Seismitoad EX's second attack, we'll be dishing out 30 damage to 2 of our bench Pokemon, so a Reshiram can also absorb those hits and then be even more powerful. So that's where Reshiram definitely comes in handy, so I felt like running 2 copies of him would definitely be nice. We're also going to be running 1 Computer Search as our A-Spec card. Again, Computer Search is always the A-Spec card you guys do want to be running with respects to Seismitoad EX type decks, because we want to draw onto our double colorless energy nice and early just so that we can disable our opponent's item cards really early on into the game. We really want to disable them because, I mean, Seismitoad EX can't dish out a whole lot of damage, but he can dish out a whole lot of annoyance and he is extremely powerful as soon as we actually do get that item lock going. We're also going to be running a total of 4 Hypnotoxic Lasers. Again, this is just a card that works extremely well with the Seismitoad EX. And since we are going to be running 4 Hypnotoxic Lasers, we'll be running a total of 3 Verbank City Gems on the side just to allow us to dish out that extra damage. We're going to be running a total of 2 Switches, 3 Ultra Balls. Again, these are pretty self-explanatory cards, so I'm briefly going to be discussing them. 2 VS Seekers, 2 Colorus, 2 Lysanders, 1 Lysander's trump card just because we are going to be able to use 2 supporter cards per turn, and we're most likely going to blaze through our deck relatively quickly, so that's where the Lysander's trump card is going to come in handy. So say for example we use 2 Junipers, and Lysander's trump card is definitely nice, and that'll allow us to recycle our cards again, and probably one of the few decks in which Lysander's trump card is probably more beneficial to us as opposed to our opponent, because in a normal game, if we were to actually use the Lysander's trump card, that would count as our supporter for the turn, so our opponent would actually be able to make use of his supporter cards before us. But if we use the Lysander's trump card, we actually get the opportunity to play our supporter cards first, simply because we'll be running our Magnezones with the Dual Brain ability. We're also going to be running a total of 4 Ends. 1 Pokemon Center Lady. I felt like it was nice to include in this deck. It's nice to have some versatility with respect to our supporter cards, because say for example if we want to heal up our Seismitoad EX, we can go right ahead and do that, and we can still go right ahead and play another supporter type card as well. So definitely is quite nice. Magnezone allows us to have that flexibility with respects to our supporter cards, so I felt like running 1 Pokemon Center Lady would definitely be nice with respects to this deck. We're also going to be running 1 Zerasik. Again, this is in case our Seismitoad EX, for example, gets a Team Flare tool attachment attached to him, or we want to discard any of our opponent's special energies. Zerasik works nicely there. We're also going to be running 1 Team Flare Grunt. The only downside to this card is that it actually only works on our opponent's active Pokemon. Otherwise, I would have actually considered running a few more copies of it, but unfortunately, that's not how it works. So we are going to be running a single Team Flare Grunt. Again, we can definitely recycle it with cards like VS Seeker and our Lysander's trump card in case we do want to use it again on our opponent's active Pokemon, just to get rid of those energies attached to him. We're also going to be running a total of 4 Junipers for some draw support, 2 Skylas just to allow us to draw any crucial cards that we need, such as Rare Candy, Computer Search, things like that. Skyla definitely works nicely in this deck, so we are going to be running 2 copies of that. We'll be running a total of 3 Verbank City Gem, again as I mentioned earlier, a total of 3 Muscle Bands just to allow us to, again, dish out some extra damage. Namely speaking, this is most likely going to be attached to our Seismitoad EX, and then we're ultimately going to be running a total of 9 energy cards, 4 of them being double colorless and 5 of them being water energy. So that's the basic deck breakdown, guys. So with that, let's go right ahead and see how well this deck performs. Again, if you guys are interested in possibly challenging me next week, please be sure to read those instructions carefully. I definitely think you guys are going to have a lot of fun out of it. So please be sure to check that out. And hopefully we get a nice turnout. And okay, so let's see how our deck is actually going to perform. Our opponent is actually going to be flipping, so hopefully we get a chance to go first. The key idea to our deck, though, guys, is that we want to get our Magnezones going nice and early, so we may have to sacrifice some cards in our hand in case we actually don't get the Magnemite, for example, because as soon as we can actually get our Magnezone line going, our deck is going to run very, very smoothly. And again, Magnezone is an extremely infuriating and annoying type of Pokemon to deal with. Not actually sure if our opponent has maybe disconnected or something. If that's the case, I'm absolutely going to find us another opponent. Yeah, I'm thinking they probably, oh no, okay, so it looks like they're just a little slow right now. Okay, alright, let's see what type of deck they're running. And okay, it looks like they're going to be running a steel type deck. Alright, so Reshiram definitely comes in handy with respects to that as well, because we will be able to dish out double D damage to our opponent's steel type Pokemon. And man, he is, we'll be able to draw into quite a few cards. I believe 4 cards. Looks like our opponent simply wasn't able to draw onto any Pokemon, so that's quite nice. Hopefully he doesn't end down our hand right away, and hopefully we do get some Magnemites going and set up on the bench. And no, it looks like we're actually not going to be able to get any of our Magnemites right now, so I'm probably going to have to use the Skyla to grab ourselves out an Ultra Ball and again place those Magnemites down, because it's crucial that we actually do get our Magnezone line running. And okay, I guess we're actually going to be able to win this turn if we actually do have a computer search. And okay, yes, looks like we are going to be able to win. So I'm gonna go right ahead and look for some, look for another opponent. I mean, this match just did not last anywhere near as long as I would have liked it to. So let's go and grab out that double colorless energy, hit for 40 damage, and go and find ourselves another opponent. Okay, so sorry about this, guys. We'll definitely be finding ourselves another opponent, so that you guys actually get a demonstration of how this deck will work like. So okay, awesome. Looks like we've just found ourselves another opponent, and let's take a look at the deck breakdown that he's actually using. And okay, it looks like it's going to be a rock and thunder type, so I'm assuming it's probably Landorus EX with Mega Manectric EX. The deck has been relatively quite popular now, so I'm definitely going to have to use N for some new cards in our hand. Hopefully we do get a Ultra Ball or something like that, again because I do want to get our Magnemite into our bench nice and early, just so that we can deal out the maximum amount of damage. Okay, it looks like I was right, so it is a Magnetric and possibly a Landorus EX type deck, at least I'm assuming. So let's go and attach a Water Energy to our Reshiram, and then I'm going to end for some new cards in our hand. Okay, it looks like we did get the Ultra Ball, so I'm going to go and use it to discard a Colress and a Water Energy, grab ourselves a Magnemite, and bring him into our bench. And with that, we will go and end our turn. Again, it's very crucial that we actually do get our Magnemite evolve nice and early. So I'll probably be using the Professor Juniper on our next card. I mean, we are discarding some very useful supporter cards, but it's okay. We will definitely be able to use the Lysander's trump card in case we actually do need that, guys. So it's not particularly too concerning. And okay, so hopefully our opponent's Manectric EX does not evolve into the Mega Manectric EX next turn, because then he would be able to get rid of our Reshiram. So I'm going to place that Seismitoad EX down into our bench, attach a Water Energy to our Reshiram, and then use the Professor Juniper. And okay, so it looks like we have another Magnemite. Yeah, definitely we'll be placing the I'll definitely be evolving our Magnemite into the Magneton. Just thinking what cards I should actually discard. So I'm assuming I'm gonna discard the Switch and the Team Flare Grunt. Probably gonna be using the Colress next turn for some new cards in our hand. Again, as soon as our Dual Brain Magnezone is running, our deck should flow relatively smoothly, and it'll definitely be incredibly powerful and annoying for our opponent to deal with. So let's go and Outrage for 40 damage. Hopefully our Magneton does not get Lysandered out. That's the one thing I'm actually worried about. But once he does evolve into the Magnezone, he has a total of 140 HP. So again, he'll be quite difficult for our opponents to deal with. And if our opponent does actually manage to knock out our Reshiram on his turn, and okay, it looks like he's not going to be able to, so that's nice. Well, so we will be able to dish out some damage using our Reshiram. Again, he's able to dish out more and more damage with each hit he actually takes from the Outrage attack. So let's go and place another Seismitoad EX down, evolve our Magneton into the Magnezone. So now our deck's definitely going to be rolling very, very smoothly. Let's go and attach a double colorless energy to our Seismitoad EX, use the Colress, and okay, so let's see, would I actually be able to knock out our opponent's Pokemon, so we'd be able to dish out 100 damage? Yes, we would be able to. So okay, let's go and place the Verbeck City Gym down, place the Hypnotoxic Laser. I'm actually gonna go use the Lysander's trump card just to recycle a lot of the cards that we've actually given up. So let's go and do that. Awesome, and we're gonna go and knock out our opponent's Landorus. Just thinking again, am I able to dish out enough damage? Yes, just making sure. Sometimes I do make those little calculation errors. And awesome, looks like we've just drawn onto our first prize card. I'm probably going to use the Lysander on our turn to drag out the Hawlucha and knock him out, or possibly our opponent's Terrakion, because again our Reshiram is able to dish out a fair amount of damage at the moment. Looks like our opponent's Manectric EX is actually unable to do anything right now, so that definitely works to our favor. Yes, I actually will be getting rid of that Hawlucha because he can definitely dish out a lot of damage to Pokemon, and it looks like our opponent's actually going to bring him out himself. Okay, so I won't even have to use the Lysander. Absolutely not sure why he actually chose to do that. I'm gonna attach the double colorless energy to our Seismitoad EX and a Muscle Band as well. Not gonna use the N because that would be very helpful to our opponent's Pokemon. So I'm just gonna place the Hypnotoxic Laser, even though we don't particularly need it. And then I'm gonna use the Juniper for some new cards in our hand. Okay, I'm actually gonna switch into our Seismitoad EX to finally get the item lock going. So let's go and bring him out. And let's see, what else should I do? Let's see what I can actually grab out with our Skyla. should I grab out the Team Flare too? So lots of variability, guys. It's definitely extremely nice to actually have a lot of choice with respects to using the Dual Brain Magnezone. I'm actually thinking the Colress would be the best choice right now, so let's go and grab that out. And then let's go and knock out that Halucha and draw a second prize card. Awesome, looks like our opponent is already locked down. So hopefully for him, he draws onto a supporter card. Otherwise, his turn is going to be relatively useless and he can't do anything. Definitely not going to be using our ends because that would allow our opponent to simply draw way too many cards, and I definitely don't want that. Okay, so let's go and Hypnotoxic Laser our opponent's Terrakion, and then I'm going to go and attach another Muscle Band to our Seismitoad EX. Not our Reshiram, I don't think we need it at the moment, so let's go and use the Colress and see what we actually get. Okay, Pokemon Center Lady, I will be using it on our Magnezone just to heal him back up to full health. Gonna attach the Water Energy to our benched Seismitoad EX in case we do need to use his Grenade Hammer later on. And let's go and use another Quaking Punch. And so it looks like our opponent's definitely having a very rough time. Our Magnezone's definitely quite nice and useful just to allow us to actually play the support card. So again, we can't actually use the Team Flare Grunt because our opponent's active Pokemon does not have any energy attached to him. The Double Colors Energy, I'm not actually going to use it. I'm not going to use our N either because I don't want to help our opponent. So let's go and knock out that Terrakion and draw onto another prize card. And okay, so it looks like things are going very, very nicely for us right now. Our opponent is having a very, very difficult time right now. Again, he's forced to do absolutely nothing but actually retreat and bring out his other Pokemon. So let's go and use the Colress and hope that we get some nice cards in our hand. And okay, so we have the Jurassic. No, I'm not gonna use that. I mean, there's actually no point to that. I'm gonna attach a Water Energy to our Seismitoad EX, so we would be able to dish out 150 damage. Unfortunately, not enough to get rid of our opponent's Mega Manectric EX. So let's just go and hit our opponent's Manectric EX for 50 damage. And unfortunately, that's going to be it. Hopefully, we're able to get our Lysander's Trump card, sorry, a VS Seeker or something like that again, just to recycle those nice, useful cards into our deck once again and make the most out of them. Okay, so I'm actually going to use the Ultra Ball to discard a Rare Candy and a Jurassic. Don't really think it's actually going to come in that handy. Don't think our opponent is actually running any special energy. He's going to grab out a Magnezone and then use the Rare Candy just in case this Magnezone does happen to get knocked out. So let's go and evolve our Magnemite and bring him out, and then hit our opponent with another Quaking Punch, preventing him from actually being able to do anything. Okay, guys, so looks like our deck is running very, very smoothly right now. Our opponent still has a total of 6 prize cards and has unfortunately been unable to do absolutely anything right now. Looks like the Landorus EX is going to come out right now. Gonna actually knock out our opponent's Manectric EX first, and then if I have to, I'll be using the Lysander, dragging out our opponent's Landorus EX, and hopefully performing the one-hit knockout with him with using our Seismitoad EX and his Grenade Hammer attack, as long as I can actually retrieve the Seismitoad EX. Okay, so I don't know, I don't foresee our opponent actually being able to make a comeback. Looks like our Pokemon have been going very, very hard. Unfortunately for our opponent, he actually won't be able to use that Professor's Letter, and looks like he's actually not being able to grab onto any energy cards as well, so that's quite unfortunate for our opponent. Let's go and hit him for another Quaking Punch and draw onto 2 prize cards. So it looks like we only have a single prize card remaining, and hopefully we should be able to win. As long as I can grab onto a Switch or an energy type card, it will be our win. Or a Skyla as well, or VS Seeker, something like that. And okay, it looks like we're actually going to get N down to a single card. And I'm assuming our opponent is going to leave his Mega Manectric EX as his active Pokemon. Looks like he's finally gotten another energy, and things are finally starting to go smoothly for him. So he will be able to grab onto a Rock type energy and attach it to his Landorus EX. But again, not the greatest matchup for our opponent, just because our Seismitoad EXs will be able to dish out double the damage to our opponent's Landorus EX thanks to that water weakness. So let's see what our opponent does. Will he actually retrieve the fighting type energy and attach it to his fighting Pokemon? Not actually sure. Our opponent is thinking right now, so let's see what he actually decides to do. Again, I don't see our opponent actually being able to win. We've had a very, very powerful start. Those Magnezones came in very, very handy, and our opponent simply was unable to draw into some energy cards as well, so definitely our opponent was in quite an unfortunate situation. I'm not sure if he actually did disconnect right now, and or maybe he's wasting time. Again, I'm really not sure, but it feels like there's been a lot of disconnections going on in some recent games. I'm assuming that's the issue. I mean, our opponent definitely did not look like he was stalling at all during the game, and yes, I'm assuming he disconnected. Okay, so that is it, guys. Thank you guys very much for watching. I hope you guys did enjoy this video, and I hope you guys do use this deck as well, because it's quite powerful and extremely annoying. And again, if you guys are interested in actually participating in the sort of giveaway that I am hosting, please be sure to read the instructions carefully. And that is it. Thank you guys very much for watching, and I will see you guys next time.